Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Vince and Al podcast. I'm Vince,
And I'm Al.
and welcome to the final episode of season two. For those of you who are old subscribers, thanks so much for sticking with us. And for those of you who are new subscribers, thanks so much for coming on board. Unfortunately, you caught us when we're about to end the season, but good things are to come. That's for sure.
That is for sure. We promise you guys. We're ending this season for a couple reasons. I think life kind of hit me personally. Don't worry, everything's going good, but a lot of changes right now are going on, so that's something I need to focus on. And Vince also as well. And we felt like in order to have the best quality podcast, we have to be all on board 100%. And we still are super passionate. We love doing these podcasts. We love the channel in general, and we want the best for it. So we felt like first of all, the first reason was just to be there all 100%. And the second reason is we have a couple ideas, a couple things that we're going to be changing for season 3, and we were just so excited about initiating and starting it that we're like, you know what? To heck with season 2. Let's end it, and we'll come back for season 3. I can guarantee you that the break, if you're old subscribers, that the break between season 1 and season 2, that was a long break. You're not going to see a break that long in any way, shape, or form. It shouldn't be. It should be less than a month. I'm gonna tell you that. And Vince and I will be back better than ever. We have to figure out a couple of things. We're in a couple of crossroads that we need to figure out, but at the end of the day, we're going to be able to solve them, and we're going to come back better than ever. So thank you guys so much. And I think, Vince, you made a funny point. If you are a new subscriber and you just subscribed, you kind of caught us at a wrong time. But, stick around. Hit that notification button so that when we come back for season 3, you're ready to listen to us.
Yeah, as always, Al and I are looking into the future. How can we improve, especially when we read, certain comments that are very nice, but definitely have some suggestive improvement. And we're taking all that into consideration. And better yet, when we look back, I mean, Al and I were just talking. We went back, we watched our very first video, and although it wasn't bad, especially for our first video, there's definitely some things that made us cringe, or there's parts where it's just like, wow, that's a little rough. And we never really want to have that. So when we look back on season 2 a year from now, we don't want to be like, oh, yikes. So when season 3 comes, it's gonna be strong. So stay tuned, guys, because we're excited about it.
We are. We're really excited. And at the end of the day, this is a channel that Vince and I created just for ourselves. Well, not just for ourselves. We wanted to share it with the world. And that's something we've done a really great job at, and we've done the best that we can with what we have. But Vince and I we're the bestest of friends. Our friendship is one of a kind, and it's something that I if you see how good of friends we are, it's something you should be jealous of, because it's a powerful
Hmm.
friendship. And we created this podcast with that intention to continue that friendship, and the podcast has served exponentially that reason. I can't even explain. I can't find any words to really explain it, but it's meant a lot to Vince and I, and we feel it's only right to improve it for, the sake, not the sake of our friendship, but as an honor towards our friendship, as well as improve it for all of our great audience that we have now, and the audience that we'll have in the future. So we're really excited. Like I said, we have a couple crossroads, a couple things that we have to figure out. But at the end of the day, we're going to figure it out, and we're going to become even better from it. So, Vince, I'm really excited, and I hope you guys are excited as well. We keep using the word excited, but we're ecstatic. That's a better word. We're ready to go. Season 3 couldn't come fast enough.
No, it cannot. And like Al mentioned, we're not gonna have, a couple month break. It's probably gonna be a month at the most. So we're excited. And don't be surprised if you guys get a notification saying the so and so podcast just made an upload that's not the Vince and Al. We might be rebranding, might be changing our name. Who knows? I guess we'll just have to stay tuned and find out for yourself. But it's exciting times, that's for sure.
Here's one question. That would
What's
help
up?
for the audience. If you guys have made it this far, thank you. What direction do you want to see Vince and I go? Doesn't mean exactly that's the direction we're going to go into. We want to create an identity. So what do you want us to talk about more? What do you enjoy us talking about? What do you hear us being really passionate about talking? Because at the end of the day, that's the identity we want. And maybe that could be part of our rebranding. Maybe that could be part of our show. Just let us know what direction do you guys want us to go into. So we might leave, a poll and ask you guys. We might reach out to a couple of channels. What direction do you guys want us to go into? And it would mean the world if you can comment on that, and it would really help us. Doesn't mean exactly that's the direction we'll go into, but we'll definitely take your comments into heavy consideration.
Yeah, you can definitely count on that. And we'll reply as soon as we can as well. And like Al said, we'll definitely take it into consideration. So when you make a comment, your voice is definitely heard. And it's read by one of us. So we really appreciate the love.
We do.
Ready to jump into topics?
I'm ready to go, Vince. I'll let you go first. I'm excited to hear. I'm excited to hear what you have to tell me.
All right. So, right now we're caught up in a world of feminism. That's like a trending word, isn't it?
Feminism. Like it.
Do you? Just kidding.
No.
Yeah, it's a touchy word. A lot of people don't believe in it. A lot of people stand and live by it. Right now, Star Wars is taking heat because they feel like The Last Jedi is too female centric. There's a lot of, as always, it's one of those words that never quite leaves the media. And, it can be subject to females are better than men, females should rise up against men. All the right, like you guys know what it is. There's a lot of different ways to define it. But essentially, what's the secret to feminism? If I'm making any sense, what is the best way to sum it up? And by summing it up, is it true? What I'm trying to say is that we live in a world where people, like, quite frankly, can just voice their opinion, and sometimes it makes complete sense to them, but it makes no sense to anybody else. And Al, I don't know if you believe the same as I do, but I firmly believe that, females love you guys. You guys are great. The world wouldn't go round without you. So you guys should be treated equal. But I do think that there's certain things that men should be able to do. And I think there's certain things that women should be able to do, or there are more meant to do, if that makes sense. But if I'm not making any sense, maybe this article that I found will make sense. It's not an article, really. It's just an anonymous person who wrote this, and I'm going to expand upon it a little bit. So I'm going to read this to you. Ready?
Ready.
All right. I think women are foolish to pretend they are equal to men. They are far superior and always have been. Whatever you give a woman, she will make greater. If you give her sperm, she will make you a baby. If you give her a house, she will give it a home, or she'll make it a home. If you give her groceries, she will give you a meal. So I kind of expanded upon that, and I said, if you give her a smile, she would give you her heart. She multiplies and enlarges what is given to her. So if you give her any crap, be ready to receive a ton of shit. So half of it was wrote by someone anonymous, and the rest your boy Vince elaborated on. So in general, Al, I should say, like, we both, like, love our moms, like, most people should. And there's something to be said that for the small acts you do, they make it be larger. If you had a bad day, they're sure to make you feel better. You hand them some ingredients and they'll make it into like a full blown meal. There's a whole lot of comfort. And at the beginning it says, women are far more superior than men. I think women could give like a male like some nails and wood and he'll build an entire tree fort. I'm not saying a woman can't do that, but at the same time, I thought this article was cool because it shows the women's perspective a little bit more. And this was wrote by a man, which I thought was pretty cool. But at the same time, I think this everything can be done by a man as well. Like if she gives you a smile, then you give her her heart. If you're that compassionate, it really does go both ways. Al, what's your opinion on this?
It's a complex thought process, I guess. I think that what you just wrote was very beautifully written. The first part, the second part was amazing. I'm kidding. No, it's beautiful, and I think it does open up a little bit my. I wouldn't exactly say open up my eyes, but I mean it is true. There's something about me coming home, and my mom is there for me when I have a rough day at school, and she's there for me. Now, at the end of the day, we're humans. We're all humans, so we are equal in a sense. As far as Saudi Arabia, where only men can vote and women are not citizens, now that is horrible. But there are differences between men and women, and that's something that I think the feminist movement, the modern feminist movement, and I'm gonna say modern. I'll get back on that. It's something that they ignore because yes, there are women who are fighting for our country currently, who are risking their lives. But say we go in a full-out war, the draft is intended for men. As much as I don't want to get drafted, I would put my life ahead of a woman's any time. Granted, if I don't really like her, then I'm just like, yeah, you go ahead. But war isn't meant for women. War is a product of sin. But war is a fight that men need to do at times, if that makes sense. I don't want to be seen as ignorant. I might not understand things. Obviously, we're not women, so we don't understand some of the things. There's the terms of mansplaining and all of those things. And I think a lot of that is just hatred. There's a lot of hatred behind there's hatred in this world. As far as men being paid more than women, I don't see, I've seen facts say both ways. If I were an employer, if a man is more qualified and has worked at my company for X amount of years more than a woman, not qualified, but has worked more and has done more for my company, yes, I will pay him more. And vice versa. This woman, whether or not she has lower credentials, but she's worked way longer for my company and has done great for my company, I will pay her more. I think we're stereotyping men a little bit too much. Yes, men are jerks, but there are women who are jerks as well. It's all about the person as an individual. As far as the first feminist movement, listen, I don't know. I don't like, I think sometimes it's funny, but at the end of the day, it's not a funny joke where it says, women belong in the kitchen, women belong with the kids, I'm seeing a lot more increase in stay-at-home men, stay-at-home dads. But obviously it depends on the person, but women are more prone to be more caring and loving. They understand things, right? I love my dad to death, but he wouldn't understand some of the things that I'm going through and wouldn't be there exactly for me to the degree of which my mom would be there for me, if that makes sense. Listen, you could be frustrated, you could be angry, you might not see eye to eye with me. At the end of the day, opinions are opinions. women in our nation right now are equal. I don't see the point for the modern feminist movement. I think it's fueled by a lot of hatred. It's fueled by a lot of ignorance. But I don't know. I don't know.
Look, you don't make bad points. There's a reason why arguments are always there to be said. Just because somebody has opposite opinions of you, there's a way they had those opposite, they raised those opposite opinions, whether it be something from their childhood or just what their beliefs are or what their access of internet entitles to. Maybe they don't know all the pieces to the puzzle. But regardless of what you choose to agree with and disagree with, there's always going to be two sides. Why? Simply because both sides have points to make. If one side was just talking utter nonsense, yeah, it might be nonsense to you, but it might make sense to them. Um, and I think that's really respectable. It's what makes us human, different opinions. It's what makes us all different. If we all thought the same, then the world would be pretty basic. So, by everything Al and I are trying to say here, right, we're not exactly saying women need to stay in the kitchen. That's not what we're saying at all. But what we're saying is that just because our views don't match up with like the modern media's views doesn't mean we dislike women. It's just it's like I said, for a while now, feminism and speak up and all these different hashtags, things like that, or hashtag me too and just things like that, it's definitely prominent. And to me, at least, that article, like being a man reading that, it made me understand the female's perspective a little bit more. But at the same time, everything I read, a guy could do just as well. That it's not associated to be guy things, just like how pink's not associated to be a guy color. But that's a conversation for another time as well. But that's really all I had to say on the matter. I just, I thought it was worth bringing up because, maybe you do agree with Al and I, or maybe you disagree with Al and I, but at the end of the day, it's it's an interesting read, and I feel like it's a point that not a whole lot of people make nowadays. So, with that, I'm done.
I did want to say one more thing. Vince, you did an incredible job kind of summarizing our feelings. You did a good job. But you also said opinions are opinions, and we all have our reasonings behind certain things. It's having the ability of having an open mind, seeing both sides. If you're still, after seeing both sides, still on your side, then great. But if you see both sides and then you said, maybe I was brainwashed a little bit by certain media source and I choose the other side, I believe with the other side, then that's also great. The matter of opinions. I'm not going to go into the whole pro-life, pro-choice argument currently, but I'm pro-choice. Excuse me, I'm pro-life. I'm pro-life.
Whoa, easy boy.
I am pro-life, but I won't talk too much about that. And I get there's arguments for it, there's arguments against it. But I did read something where a woman said the government should not decide what goes on with my body. And to an extent, I agree with her. And like I said before, I don't want to go with the whole argument. But someone else said, why should I keep a couple of cells in my body that are useless? And here's my argument. I'm in anatomy right now, and you're just a bunch of cells. You're just a bunch of atoms, regardless of their brain capacity or not. You know what I'm saying? That's my little argument right there. But it's having that open mind. I see both sides. Now, it did help me solidify my pro-life, but I did see both sides. So that's really all I have to say. Maybe one day Vince and I will talk about it. But Vince, what's your stance on it? Are you pro-life or pro-choice before we move on to the next thing?
I'm definitely pro-life, and I had a really interesting and insightful conversation with a girl about this. And for obvious reasons, I'm a guy, she's a girl. Even if we agree to pro-life, we're still going to bring up very different opinions because of our gender. We see things a little bit differently. However, I was talking to a girl and she was pro-choice. I mean, that's her choice, that's her mind. I don't agree with it, but I do respect that because once again, that's what makes us all different. If we all had the same views, this world would be pretty darn basic. Um, but just make clear, I don't agree with it, but that's okay. We were still able to have a civil discussion about it. We weren't like yelling at each other. It was a nice, calm, civil discussion. And she brought up like, what if the girl's raped and things like that? What if circumstances happen to her? So then she has no choice but to go through with it. These different things that I have never thought of, all of which made me say that's a good point. But at the end of the day, I'm still pro-life, and that's not going to change. However, one thing I agree with is you can't always throw the religion card on people because not everybody practices religion, and maybe they don't practice it to the extent that I might. So you have to be careful where you do place that card, but that's a legitimate argument to make. So I feel like for every good argument, there's a then opposite argument to take it down, and then they cancel each other out. And at the end of the day, it's just a series of canceling each other out. And I think it's an issue that I think our government doesn't even want to touch because it's so touchy.
Yeah.
It's the only law that has to, or not law, but it's the only controversy that has to do with male parts and female parts and what goes on with them and how it decides to make life. I think that that's all super complex as it is, that I don't think that they're going to want to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
And make a definitive choice.
Yeah. It is a touchy subject, and that's why I don't want to get too much into it. But yeah, it's all about keeping an open mind. As far as kind of going into my topic, we're going and still keeping in the whole political thing. And it's more of a question. I did read an article. It was about the Pope, the big man, His Holiness,
Big man.
Pope Francis, talking about fake news and how it is kind of a byproduct of sin and Satan and everything. And then it was kind of comparing and contrasting how Donald Trump, everything that goes against him is quote unquote fake news. So there's a lot of things like that. Vince, what's your thoughts on fake news? Yeah, what's your thoughts?
It's no different than clickbait in a sense, and not to say that our channel's using clickbait, but we're definitely trying to make our titles more interesting because who doesn't want to read something, go, ooh, it looks interesting, and click on it? Sometimes being dishonest, there's a little bit of truth behind lying, if done right. And friend, let's just talk about clickbait for a second. Yes, whatever that title, it does have to do with the video, but it doesn't directly tie into the overall thoughts or moral of the video, if you will. It might just like highlight a certain section of it, but it's made to entice the viewer or listener to click or to stay tuned and listen to it. And obviously it works. It definitely works. You look at like the biggest YouTube stars, they all use clickbait. So with the media, I think they were just trying to catch the same trend. They were just trying to use clickbait, and because it got a lot of the older audience was watching the news, and you have, political people who are running the whole spectrum, they then watch the news. More important people and more average people start to watch these things that incorporate clickbait, and then it makes it look so much more false than it would on a platform such as YouTube. Plus, they're also streamed by respective networks. like NBC and things like that, networks that people have grown up watching and always respected. So for them to go take a deep dive and talk about fake news, which is pretty much lying, clickbaiting, um, but at the end of the day, it's just making stuff up just for views. You have to ask yourself, is it worth it for the kind of heat that they're taking? And making up story, that's not news. That's lying. There's a big difference there. So I totally disagree with it, but at the same time, it's not that much different than clickbait, and clickbait I approve of. So I'm in between, to be honest with you. What are your views?
For me, clickbait is generally associated with YouTube. Obviously, you'll go on a website and then have those advertisements at the bottom are kind of like, um, this pill saved this man's life, and then it ends up like being completely different. You know what I'm talking about? Um,
Absolutely.
so that's also some clickbait. But at the end of the day, that's entertainment purposes. These guys are news anchors. These guys are who are delivering news to the entire nation, and it's a disservice to citizens to just be receive fake news. And maybe fake news, I haven't heard anything like someone making up a story like, oh, Trump did this, but in reality he really didn't. Maybe they're running on rumors. I really hope they're not like, yeah, let's just make up a news story and let's get views. I really hope not. Maybe it's happening, but I really hope, and I have at least some hope for humanity that they don't do that. But there is some dishonesty, and it's just there's CNN who is left wing, and there is Fox News who is right wing. So you're gonna get two different views on two different channels, and there are some people who don't recognize that, and there are some people who will get all of their emotions, all of their thoughts, everything from watching CNN, and then they're ending like, yeah, I hate Trump, but maybe they don't hate Trump, or I hate Republicans, maybe they don't hate Republicans, and vice versa with Democrats. I mean, excuse me, with Fox News, where yeah, boo Democrats, but in reality I agree with them, but I've been brainwashed. So it's disinformation. I don't know, it's kind of serving as propaganda, and that creates some distrust for me with our government and our news media sources. It's kind of becoming a joke for on YouTube. Clickbait is clickbait. It's for entertainment purposes, but when it's fake news on a media source that can affect people's lives, yeah, there's no room for fake news, and there's no room for half lying. If that makes sense.
I was just thinking about something, and that's kind of why I made that quick pause there, and I completely forgot what it was.
Brilliant.
Thanks, man. I'm really trying.
Speaking of
Sorry about that,
brilliant,
guys.
that was a good movie, wasn't it? Did you watch it on Netflix?
Bright.
Bright, excuse me. Yeah, Bright. Hey,
Nice,
don't
man.
don't make fun of me. You're the one who forgot.
Brilliant with Will Jiff and Joel Edgar Plunk,
Blunk.
and I think it's streamed on Hulu. It was a Hulu exclusive.
I think it was Amazon Prime, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was Amazon Prime,
Wow.
bro.
I didn't know you had Amazon Prime because
Actually,
clearly you saw
it
the
was
movie.
it was Jaden Smith.
Oh, you know what? I think I saw that. Yep.
Yeah, that was it. Brilliant.
Yep.
No, Bright was a good movie, and it kind of showed. They kind of pushed it a little bit with the whole races and everything, but I did
They
also
did.
how it was humans, and there was humans of all different races, and then there was the ogres, and then there was was it ogres? No, it wasn't ogres. What?
Uh, it was orcs.
Orcs, excuse me, yeah, and elves.
You're,
It kind of brought the human race together, but then again, the elves are the rich white people, quote unquote. The ogres are the black people that are like not even treated as the right people, and then the humans are like the in betweens. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that was a little bit pushed over, kind of forced upon us. But at the end of the day, it was a good movie.
it was, yeah. Something I'm definitely gonna have to revisit. I watched it while trying to do some homework, and then I think I just got too focused on the homework, and I missed a lot of the movies, so I'll have to go back and watch it. All I remember is I looked up though for like a split second, and saw some boob action, so then I like went back to my homework.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I was watching the movie with my dad. Oh, hey.
Oh, hey, what are those?
Yeah,
Why does she have coconuts hanging from her chest, Dad?
yeah, Dad. What are those? I don't know what those. What? I think they're coming
uh,
out with the second movie.
for real?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if they are.
Netflix is going in the right direction.
Yeah. I there's actually a whole series that J.J. Abrams directs, and it's called like the Cloverfield series. There's 10 Cloverfield Lane, just a movie just called Cloverfield. There's I think the other movie's called like Letters from Cloverfield, and they're really good movies, dude. Like I would highly recommend it. And it sounds like Netflix is making the newest adaptation where J.J. Abrams is coming back to direct. This is called Cloverfield 3. So
Huh?
Netflix is doing it right,
Is
man.
Cloverfield on Netflix?
No, unfortunately. But I feel like once that movie comes out, they'll get the rights, so it would make sense if they put it on.
Yeah, it would. All right, bro. That's. I think that was really
It's a
it.
wrap.
That was a wrap, but it was quite the ride. Season 2 was an amazing ride, and looking back on it, when we come back for season 3, it will be February, and we started here in August, and we're still grinding, bro. We're still having fun at it. That was the most important thing. We wanted to have fun, and whenever we didn't have fun, we would just end the show, end the channel completely, and it doesn't feel like we're running out of fun. I feel like we're having more and more fun. How many times am I gonna say fun? We're having more and more fun each day,
Hmm.
but it's been quite the ride. Season 2 was not as long as I anticipated, but we have to do what we have to do. And season 3, hopefully, we can learn from that and make it a little bit longer. And I know we'll be able to, and just have a blast. That's what we want to. That's the moral of season 3. Have a blast and be able to identify the crossroads and fix it. And we'll get there, bro. We'll be able to figure out something.
Oh, for sure. And we definitely saw the improvement that needed to happen. So why wait? We'd rather give that to you guys now. So therefore, season 2 is coming to a halt. I will have my last Fade from Silence episode uploaded on Saturday. But other than that, though, this is it. And I also just wanted to say thank you guys so much for the support on the Star Wars Rebels trailer breakdown. That video blew up more so than I thought it would. So that was pretty cool. Thank you guys for that. But really, though, thank you. What I really meant to say is thank you guys so much for all the love and support all throughout season 2. We're growing at an exponential rate. Our views are at an all-time high, and our subscriber count is obviously at an all-time high. We just can't do it out without you guys, and we're the reason. You're not the reason that we do it. It's for Alan and I, but you're the reason that propels us to keep doing this because like just how cool is that we're actually attracting views along the way. So thank you guys so much.
And at the end of the day, we don't see you guys as subscribers. We see you guys as family members. And that's something powerful that Vince and I have, a unique trait that this channel has. We have a good amount of family members, and we look to add, and it's going to be a blast. I'm looking forward to it, and Vince, I'm looking forward to solving all of these crossroads, and get into it. Vince and I have actually been having a couple meetings. I like how we call certain things what they're called. But that already having 2 meetings shows you guys how much we want this season 3 to be great, and how much we want this channel to be great, and how much we want this friendship to be great. So it's gonna happen. Season 3, you guys aren't gonna even expect what's coming. A storm is coming, a good storm. So that's all I really have. Thank you for season 2. This is Al. Peace out, season 2. See you season 3. See you guys.
See you guys at season 3. What else more can we say? Peace, guys. Love you all.